Hey everyone, welcome back to Bogey Proof, part two, the episode for the Open Championship this week. Really got a fun week in store. We got all four of us on here, Joey, Mike, Matt, and Eric checking in. Matt and I obviously, chatted a little bit earlier this week about the golf course, kind of what the Open Championship means to us and what we're looking forward to this week. But we wanted to get the whole game together here to talk a couple storylines, some picks, and really kind of just chat about what we're looking forward to this week. So first off, I kind of just want to highlight for all the listeners out there, it is such a unique week with the fact that you can wake up, at 3:00 in the morning and get to some golf right away. Matt and I talked about the fact that, hey, we love the fact that you can get up and you can pour yourself a coffee, you can sit there and you can enjoy some golf before you even, head to work. So just wanted to jump and talk a little bit about the TV schedule this week. So mostly on Golf Channel, NBC, and kind of the NBC affiliates, the Peacocks of the world. So for if you're to look, I think it's 4 a.m. it starts and it goes all the way to 3 p.m. So just kind of look out for that this week and looking forward to a fun week of golf that starts at 4 a.m. every single day. And obviously the leaders are going to go off around like 10 or 11 East Coast time for the weekend. So should be a fun week of golf and looking forward to it.
You get 1:30 a.m. with Peacock Premium. You get
1:30 a.m.
Just Eastern time. You can just stay up all night long, Saturday into Sunday, Friday into Saturday, whatever you got to do. You got Peacock Premium. You get an extra 2.5 hours of golf starting at 1:30 in the morning. So like you said, though, I mean, worst case, if you don't have Peacock Premium, you got 4 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that does the job too. A lot of golf to watch.
Yeah, and if you're so, and I apologize. This is an egregious misstep on my end, but boys, I know this is kind of the part two, but are we drinking some tonight? Joey, where are you coming from, and what are you sipping on?
Rainy New Hampshire, boys. We got a nice little watermelon high nooner tonight.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah, Fontaine, shout out you. I thought this was your flavor.
Hey, let's go.
Hey,
Nooners are rolling. Love that.
But yeah, so Rainy New Hampshire, been raining here shit ton these past couple of days, but diving and surviving. What about you, Quacks? I see you got a nooner.
Yep, I just kind of gave it away there on the camera before we talked about it, but I've also got a nooner. I got one of the new flavors, the black cherry. All the new flavors that I've had of the nooners are really good. I think my personal favorite so far is the mango, but the black cherry is also pretty good.
They don't miss.
Yeah, Matt, how about yourself?
I actually got some red wine. I got a little cab. I don't know, had a half a bottle on the kitchen counter left, and it's gross and kind of wet and whatever. And sorry, not the wine, the weather. The weather's gross, so I was like, I didn't have any nice refreshing high noons or anything like that, but had a half a bottle of red wine, so I figured let's have a little glass of that after my dinner here. But Mikey, what do you got?
Fontaine, I gotta say, I don't think I've ever met anyone in my life that has more half like open bottles of wine just lying around.
Dude, my girlfriend never finishes them. She comes over while dinner and then like just leaves it, and then I'm like, well, it's been here for a week now, so I'm gonna have that. But yeah,
I was gonna say you have more self-restraint than most people, but I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you giving us the the actual answer there.
Yeah, no, it's not self-restrained. The second I started, it never ends up half finished on the counter. But she does.
Yeah, I am. A staple now, little bourbon seltzer kind of deal, bourbon sparkling water. So back in the Four Roses Spindrift grind, very interesting flavor that I saw here. So we got the half tea, half lemon sparkling water there. So a little lemon, little tea when it comes to bourbon. That's right in the sweet spot. So I would suggest going out, getting a couple of these, and you could probably mix it with that. Honestly, it'd probably go good with vodka, gin, goes well with bourbon. So if I was fancy, I'd throw a couple mint leaves in here, but it's Tuesday night. So, can only do so much. But Joey, Matt and I chatted a little bit last week or, the other day about, how excited we were for the Open Championship. And we haven't had an Open for 2 years. We haven't seen true links golf in a major championship venue in 2 years. What are you most excited about when you think of kind of the Open Championship or just links golf in general? Like, where does your brain go to? What's that spitting image kind of on repeat?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a different style of golf, so I think it's a unique way to watch, or not a unique way to watch, but more so for them a unique way to play. But it's fun to kind of see how they can maneuver their way around the course, because it's such a different type of style of golf compared to what we're used to playing. And I don't know if any of you guys have, been across the pond to play. I mean, I have, and I look forward to the day I get to go there and really get to play it. But, I saw, we were talking about Brooks earlier, but I saw, today he was like, you can have a 50-yard shot and you have 6 different golf clubs that you could play. It's just so unique. And I think it's, you have to have a really good imagination to play at those type of golf courses. So I'm really excited to see how these guys are able to do it this week. I really don't know much about this golf course in particular. I know we were kind of saying it doesn't seem like it's many of the players' favorite, but any golf course that we don't get to see too normally is fun to kind of watch. So I'm excited to see some of the golf course. Hopefully, I'll be able to watch some of the highlights if I'm not sleeping while it's on. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the Open. It's the most different of all the majors, I would say, right? So it is. I'm excited to watch it.
I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't jump on the graveyard shift at Baker Hill this week so that you could be in the pro shop to watch all week.
Fuck no, man. God, no, I'm there my whole fucking life anyway. Jeez. Thank God we're not like never mind.
No comment.
No comment.
Eric, but what are you looking forward to this week, or kind of what's that spinning image of, when you turn on the TV on Thursday morning, you're hoping to see a little bit of?
Yeah, I mean, Joey hit the nail on the head right there with kind of the creativity that's required with playing in the Open, playing links golf, and whether you're battling the elements of weather or whatever it is, you got to be creative. And a lot of times there's 3, 4, 5 different ways to play a certain shot. So definitely kind of what I think of when it comes to the Open. And for some reason, when I try to think back on like Open memories or like a shot that stands out to me, the first shot that comes to my mind, I want to say it was 2010 at St. Andrews when Miguel Angel hit the bank shot off of the brick wall in the road hole. I don't know why that's the shot that comes to my mind, but it is. And I think that, talk about being creative. He didn't really have another option, but that's the shot the first shot that comes to my mind when I'm thinking about the Open. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just being able to watch a different style of golf for a week. And obviously it's a major, so it makes it even more exciting.
Yeah, Matt, we talked elements the other day a ton, but we didn't talk about kind of the, unique elements of links style golf courses that come to play, like those, the berms, like the fact that you can get in there and sometimes play a shot, or like Eric's saying, there's stone walls, in play, and there's people out there hitting bank shots. Because those golf courses were built so long ago, you have unique features that realistically there might be a half a dozen golf courses in the US that have those type of features. And they were probably recreated, and they're probably done, either half-ass or not nearly as nicely.
Yeah. There's no history to it. They like made it weird and like forced it in there where it doesn't really fit like the landscape and shit, for sure. Yeah. And I think
just too, like the Open Championship produces such unique winners, right? I'm looking right now at the previous winners, and I'll just kind of run down maybe the last like 8 or 10 of them. But right, Royal Portrush, Shane Lowry. Before that, we had Molinari. Jordan Spieth got it done right when he was hitting it in the range and then knocking it in from 60 feet. Hendrik Stenson, Zach Johnson, Rory McIlroy, Phil Mickelson, Ernie Els, Darren Clark, right? And before that, Louis Oosthuizen. That's kind of the gamut of, people on the back end of their career. Rory at that moment, that was, I think, right, that was the second major he won that year, maybe, or like
That was the first, and then he won the PGA after it. That was before they switched.
Yeah, so that was right. That was a stretch where he won 3 majors and like 3 out of 7 starts or something like that. Right. So really like peak beginning of Rory, obviously, right. Phil's win, and guys like Ernie Els and Darren Clark winning in their 40s. Not that Phil was in his 40s at that point too. Zach Johnson, like we have ball strikers, we have great putters, we have grinders. Like you can look up and down the field this week, and you can't say, hey, this is the formula, this is the type of player that's going to get it done. And right, Joey alluded to it, right? Like there's been a little bit of chatter about the golf course not like being the favorite of many. So I think even more so, that's another aspect, right? Like it's going to take a special player and a unique player this week, but I don't think there's a formula to do it. So, I'm interested a little bit later to hear you guys' picks, because I think they could be all over the place. But yeah, Matt, can you kind of think back on maybe the last, 4 or 5 Open Championships, and when you think back in those, what was kind of, maybe one moment that you think, or one moment that's kind of ingrained? Like for me, I think it's that Hendrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson battle in 2016. Like that was pretty ridiculous. Epic, right? That was ridiculous. So is there any kind of one more?
I think that's a great one, because that, like, it gets overshadowed a little bit for some reason, because Hendrik won and he kind of fell off after that, unfortunately. Like he was so good for so long and finally got that major, and it seemed like his game kind of, I think he had some injuries and stuff going on, but he definitely fell off from that point. But that performance by Phil for coming in second is like the 5th best major performance in terms of like strokes gained and all those stats we have now, like in the history of major championships. And he just happened to go against like the 2nd best performance of all time in Henrik's that week. And like, there's like, if he did that any other week of played that level when it comes to like the way the strokes gains work out and all that stuff, like he would have won like basically every other major but 4 in the history of majors, right? Like that's just how good he played to come in second. Like, strokes gain only goes back so many years, so maybe not the history of majors, but it's just kind of impressive that duel that we had that Sunday of, I think Henrik shot like 64 and Phil shot 66 on Sunday, something ridiculous like that.
Henrik was 8 under and Phil was 6 under. I was just looking it up.
Yeah, like unbelievable in the final group on a Sunday to just go like in the same group too, like it wasn't like Phil was ahead of him on the course and he had to do that or vice versa. Like just going back and forth at each other, like mano a mano. Like that was one of the more fun Sundays of an Open Championship that I can remember in recent memory, obviously not including any of the Tiger ones back in the day. But another thing that stands out to me was the, oh my God, what was it? Oh my God. I'm totally drawing a blank. I don't know, whatever. We'll have to skip that and come back to it.
But so you brought up Tiger, and it's interesting. I think there's a pretty good trend in the Open Championship that we end up with kind of like a mano a mano back 9 at the Open Championship. I'm thinking back 2018 when, Molinari and Tiger were playing in the penultimate group. So they were, not playing in the final group, but they were playing before that. But they had kind of, remember when Tiger hit that pitching wedge out of the bunker?
Yeah,
on 10 and hit that thing like that, like every other mortal hits that in the face and leaves it in there.
Mortal.
And he hits that thing full speed and gets it up over the lip and knocks it stiff. And then we're like, oh shit, like, is he gonna win a major here? And Molinari just shoots like 4 under on the back 9, and just every time Tiger makes a birdie or hits a good shot, he matches it all the way down to 18. Tiger hits it to like 8 feet. Molinari hits it to 2 feet, finishes it off and wins by a couple. Like we just had some absolute duels down the stretch. I don't know. Do you remember that one a little bit, Matt?
That was a good one. I think we were actually playing in a tournament that time. And I remember checking my phone at, 9 in the morning on the course and be like, holy shit, Tiger's tied for the lead on 10 or whatever. After he hit that shot, I was like, whoa, like what is going on here? Like, I'm just following via Twitter or whatever throughout the day. And then that pops up and I was like, holy shit, like Tiger might, like, this was, as this was part of his comeback, of 2018. He would later went on to win the Tour Championship and, then the Masters the following year. But like that was like, like this was all part of Tiger's comeback. He was, having some close calls and good finishes and all that. And then he made double on either 11 or 12. I think it's like a par 3, kind of missed it over to the right, kind of never didn't get it on the green the next one, and then kind of made a mess of it. But yeah, that wasn't crazy. And that was like Francesco playing like ridiculous golf at that time too, just like as steady as ever. He went on to win a couple more that year. And the Open Championship, I think, just always kind of back to your earlier point of like, it provides a wide range of champions, right? Like think of Francesco Molinari, right? Like incredibly solid putter, super short off the tee, but accurate, and just like grinder, right? Like you have a guy like that winning, and then you have a guy like Rory winning 3 or 4 years before him of, Rory's like the complete opposite of that. Like putting's average, bombs the ball, like flashy shots, like can hit any shot in the world and all this kind of stuff. And the Open Championship just gives you, I think, better than most majors. I think really gives you just the widest range of potential champions, given the style of golf that's played. It's played on the ground. You got to battle the elements all week, whether it's wind, rain, the luck of the draw we talked about yesterday, like all those different things that kind of play a factor. So the Open Champion, I can't wait for, Thursday morning at, I don't know, I'm going to do 1:30 a.m. But probably more in that 6 o'clock range for me, just so I'm not like a complete zombie the entire day. But I'm looking forward to getting up and watching some golf and, having a couple cups of coffee and then transitioning that into something a little more exciting later in the day. But yeah, no, I love the Open. I can't wait for this week to get going.
Yeah, let's kind of jump into some storylines and talk favorites. I think, right, and rightfully so, at 7-1, at least the odds I'm looking at right now, Jon Rahm, 2 times better odds than anybody in the entire field, right? Number 1 player in the world, has essentially been, if he got beat, it was barely, or he had to withdraw. So we had a legitimate opportunity to win the last three starts he's had. Obviously, I don't know exactly what he finished at the Scottish Open, but was right there. Maybe a couple of shots behind, and then, obviously won the U.S. Open, and then, pretty much won the Memorial. I think, Patrick Cantlay would even say that, Jon Rahm pretty much wrote him a check that week. I'm hoping Patrick Cantlay brought him out to a dinner or something, but, so we'll kind of run down a couple other people. A little surprised with this Bryson DeChambeau, 14-1 being second on the list. And then we had Dustin, 15-1, Rory McIlroy and Xander. Rory McIlroy, Xander, and Brooks, 16-1. Probably some value at Brooks being 16-1, the way he's had some form in majors. And then JT, Spieth, 20-1, and then kind of a couple other people. Just wanted to highlight a little bit of value. I think Lee Westwood's a good pick at 35-1. Cam Smith, Mark Leishman, 55-1. And even a couple people even down. Jason Kokrak's won twice this year on the PGA Tour. He's 90-1. So like there's definitely some value in, having being the Open and really kind of a really wide field. For people's out there, hopefully, they're listening to our gambling podcast, but there's definitely an opportunity to maybe get someone with some really low odds and, and get a top 10 or a top 25, or even take a flyer on someone to win. So kind of out of those people I said right now, Eric, is there kind of anyone you got your eye on, maybe at a value pick? Well, let's not go straight into like who you think's going to win, but maybe 1 or 2 people that you think might have a chance this week and kind of keeping your eye on them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what we're going to define as a value pick, but you rattled off the top 10 there, I think, in the odds, and I didn't hear Victor Hovland's name. I really like him this week. I think he's probably sitting somewhere around like 25-1, something
40
like that.
40-1 on CBS Golf right now.
Wow, yeah. So really like
40.
him. He hasn't really won that big event yet. So we're going to talk about a value pick. I'm definitely going to call him a value pick, if not kind of like a sleeper favorite, if that's even a thing.
Kind of like that.
I mean, he won on the European Tour, what, 2 weeks ago, three weeks ago?
Right before the Irish Open. I forget what it was, but he won.
Yeah, I think he's going to win a major in the next probably, I don't know, 6 majors or something. I would put money on that, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it at an Open. So I like him. And then I was gonna say Cantley too. I like Cantley. I think someone this week, just from what I've heard about the golf course and the quirkiness to it, and it's kind of taken like the best driver, the benefit of hitting a good driver kind of out of play. People are going to end up unlucky bounces, end up in weird spots. I feel like someone that's going to win this week, and which is something we see a lot of time in the Open, is going to be someone who kind of can keep it even keel and not get upset about getting an unlucky bounce and ending up in a shitty place. And so for that reason, I like Cantley as well. I think he falls into that kind of middle of the road value pick as well.
Yeah, I love Hovland this week, and another guy that he's a top guy, but I'm surprised he's where he is Justin Thomas at 20-1 feels like a little bit of value there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been up and down all year, but like when he's up, I mean, it's pretty much second to none. I mean,
it's something like he doesn't have before this past week at the Scottish Open, he didn't have a top 10 since the Players or something.
Right.
But then he played well at the Scottish Open this week. So
yeah, but exactly. Like all he needs, like when he's as good as he is, like you get one good week, or, even before that week, if he found something practicing, whatever it is, just something that feels good, and, kind of have like that honeymoon phase where you got the hot hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's all he needs is something like that. And I think he's got also, like, it definitely plays a role in Opens, like the creativity around the greens and like to hit all the different shots he hits, like that kind of stuff. You just have to be comfortable doing that. You don't have to be great at it, but you have to like not be like totally thrown out of your element by having to hit like a pitching wedge from 20 yards. Like you just have to be open and like comfortable hitting all those kind of different shots that an Open Championship requires, whether it's off the tees, into par threes, around greens, bunker shots, etc. He seems to have a super creative mind, and he battled the putter all year. I noticed he kind of switched up his putter. It's still the same blade, but he's got the different kind of shaft going into the blade now. I think 20-1 for him, I think is like really, really good odds. I think, like you said, I think it was 8th last week. You like 15 or 16 under, he finished that. And that's enough good momentum for me to kind of take a flyer on him if I'm going to get 20-1 odds.
Joey, are you biting on Jimmy Walker at 400-1 this week?
Thought about it.
Thought about it?
Yeah, no, you know me, my picks are terrible usually. I got a different pick coming your way. A little bit of curveball. I don't even think his name's been mentioned yet today, but
hey, keep it hush. Keep it hush.
My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed for now.
I think too, it's interesting. The odds that I'm looking at right now, they're not putting a whole lot of stock into Americans that have, showed some form last week coming over to the Open. And I don't know anything regarding stats as far as, what does success at the John Deere Classic, what does that lead to at the Open Championship? But not a lot of love for Lucas Glover this week at 200-1. Sebastian Munoz played well last week. Ches Reavie, Troy Merritt played well at Rocket Mortgage. So, some guys that have shown some form, obviously, not on links golf courses, but it's tough to fight against someone. And I'm looking, Mackenzie Hughes, 300-1. The guy had the lead at the U.S. Open. So look down on that list for some value if that's where we're headed. But Matt, I know you're kind of looking at some tee times earlier and ones that you thought were going to be pretty interesting. Maybe highlight a couple of those and maybe let's do a quick round robin on who we think is going to win those groups.
Yeah. So I got like 7 here of quote unquote featured groups. They didn't go crazy stacking them like some other tournaments might.
Yeah.
They kind of spread it out pretty well this week, but Brooks Koepka goes off at 3 a.m. Eastern time with Kokrak and Garrick Higo. After them, we got Jordan Spieth, Bryson, and Brendan Grace at 4:25. I don't know about Bryson this week. I know he's got decent odds, but a new caddy and like the way this course sets up with all the blind shots and like all the work that goes into an Open Championship, I think you have to have a really good relationship with your caddy in order to trust him on like not having a line off the tee, right? Like there's no trees for him to aim at. He's got to be like, yeah, hit it over that mound or like hit it out that way away from that bunker. And like all the blind shots these players keep talking about, that's kind of rubbing them the wrong way about the course in general. I just think that he's got to work overtime because he is not going to trust his caddy. And that's like one like more advantage that the rest of the field has on him. Whenever you're kind of taking yourself down from the rest of the field, that's never a good sign going into a week. And with the odds that he has, I don't know. I mean, you could prove me wrong, but I'm fading Bryson this week for sure. Shane Lowry, John Rahm, Louis stays in at 5 a.m. DJ, Willie Z, and Justin Rose at 5:20. Xander, Robbie McIntyre, Ricky Fowler at 10 a.m. JT, Tommy Fleetwood, Adam Scott. That's a ball striking group. Holy shit. 10 a.m. right after those guys. And then Rory, Patrick Reed, Cam Smith, 10:21. So that 10 a.m. slot's pretty stacked with kind of, it looks like, I don't know if they're going to be alternate teaser or whatever, but 10 a.m., 10:10, 10:21, those last three groups, that's going to be some fun golf to watch come Thursday morning.
Someone you mentioned there, you said, who was Fleetwood playing with?
Adam Scott and Justin Thomas.
Fleetwood's got to show me something. I don't want to call out Tommy Fleetwood, but like, the guy's got to win something. I don't know what it is. He has such a good golf swing and a game that should be winning PGA Tour tournaments. Like, yeah, that guy just strikes the shit out of the ball. I don't know what's up with him, and he just can't get in the winner's circle. But I'm looking. He's got to show me something this week, or I might write off Tommy Fleetwood.
He had a good presser today. I was watching like the live from or whatever they do every week of the major, and his presser got me a little fired up. I mean, I know they're always super positive, and those are not going to sit up there and be like, yeah, I don't know, I've been playing like shit. No, like, you know, like they always kind of spin it and, you know, say that they're progressing and whatever else it may be. But his presser sounds like, I mean, he's in good spirits and he seems to be kind of coming back. It definitely hit a low point during the whole COVID thing. He, like, the last year and a half for him has been super subpar compared to, you know, the golf we've seen him play in the past. Even when he wasn't winning, it was always still in the mix, you know? So I'm hoping, like you said, Mikey, he's got to show us something, but I'm hoping this week is a week he kind of, you know, gets back in the mix.
I agree. That's all I got to say, but I agree. Love me some Tommy Fleetwood, but
fun guy to watch. He's an easy guy to root for. So.
You know, Tommy Fleetwood, he fucks, right? So, you know, gotta get a win or something. I feel bad for the guy.
I mean, if he doesn't get a win soon, guy probably should get a haircut. Change up the vibes.
Yeah. That would be a move. Imagine he just comes out with like a clean, like, you know, crew cut, buzz cut style thing going on. Or like that would be.
In his defense, like, I know he's a pro golfer, but like when I cut my hair, like I was still the same shitty golfer. So it didn't so, I mean, maybe it'll work for him.
All right, we'll cancel that inquiry we're sending out. Be like, never mind. Our guy said it doesn't work. Oh man, what do you guys think about DJ this week? He's been pretty subpar year, but I mean, he's still DJ, right? I don't know. There's got to be something in there.
I picked to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alert.
Think he bounces back and kind of gets back on track and goes back to whatever, kind of erases the last 6 months and just turns the switch back on?
Exactly. I think he kind of like similar thing that you mentioned about JT. I think, yeah, so what, the last 6 months or whatever haven't been the best. I think that he's got the capability more than anyone to just find something for a week and win a golf tournament, and
100%.
Got good memories for the most part at
True.
St. George's. He almost won in 2011. So
very good point.
Pumped the 2-iron out of bounds, but
I mean, that was, you know, 10 years ago. I think there's more good than bad there, right?
So and I think just generally, like, he's a little overlooked this week. So that's why, one of the reasons too why I'm going with him to win.
I like that. It's a good, I mean, it's crazy to think of where we were a year ago with him, to think that he's like not even talked about in a major championship this week. It's like, I know he hasn't played that great, but I mean, his bat, he's still making a million cuts and, you know, in the, not contending by any means. But it's not like he's, you know, hurt and missing a million cuts. He's still Dustin Johnson. So I like that pick. That there's probably some value there too, compared to what he's normally, you know, priced at and stuff.
He's like 5th or 6th in and the odds, which is low for him. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
What do you guys-
for someone who spent more than a year at number 1 in the world.
yeah,
And
he's
like
back in
in
the world again.
in like dominating fashion too. Like when he had that 6-month stretch last year, I mean, he won what 4 or 5 times, including the Masters in November, and like winning by a lot too. Like he took it deep at TPC Boston, shot like 32 under that week. Like it was just stupid the things he was doing with the golf ball for about 6 months there. So if there's any sign of that in there, I think that's plenty to contend and kind of be back in the mix. He also U.S. Open, he was in top 20, but like back in his name was on the leaderboard for a little while, like first page Sunday afternoon. So I like that. What do you guys think? I mean, speaking of the U.S. Open here, like Jon Rahm, like Mikey, you touched to it earlier, like he legitimately could have or borderline should have won his last 3 starts. Like, is he about to do what DJ did to us last year and just kind of, take over here? Like, even if he doesn't win this week, if he's in the top 5 again and goes back and wins a playoff event or, the FedEx Cup or something like that, like what a stretch he's been on,
I could see it.
You can see it, Joe?
I could see it.
Passes the eye test for you.
You can see the number 1 player in the world getting it done this week.
Yeah, exactly. You can definitely see that.
Can you just give us a little insight on how you came to that conclusion?
I just think Fontaine made a very fair point that made me just, remember like, oh shoot, what was That's So Raven? She had like a little thing in her eye, like go. That's what I had saying it could happen.
So you see in your little, crystal ball.
Strikes the shit out of the ball.
In your crystal ball, you see Jon Rahm hoisting the Claret Jug this week. I honestly, for our listeners out there, you could have gave me a million guesses at the TV show that would be referenced as part of our Open Championship preview, none of which would have been That So Raven. That's why we love you, Joe. That is incredible stuff right there.
Head on a swivel, boys. Head on a swivel.
Oh, I love it. I mean,
how about that American League team, though? Continue. I'm sorry.
I mean, back to Jon Rahm, though, on like a serious note, is Rory the last guy to win back-to-back majors in 2014? I can't remember the last time we had that. I mean, it's got to be, right? I don't know. I guess Francesco almost did with the 2018 Open, and then having the lead on Sunday at Augusta too, right? That was probably the next closest one we had, but
yeah,
I can't think of anybody else. It's got to be. It's
nothing better.
First time in 7 years. I know COVID's in the way there, and we lost out on a major being played, but it'd be pretty impressive. I think we haven't had that kind of quote unquote dominance by the world number 1 since Rory in 2014, where he won like back-to-back majors and like a couple in between there, including a FedEx Cup and whatever else. So I'm all aboard Jon Rahm winning and like becoming the new like dominant, the guy, kind of taking that throne from kind of DJ and Rory of the last 5 years on and off. Like I'd love to see him just kind of have a 5-year stretch here where he racks up like a shit ton of majors. I'm all for getting that next guy kind of up to the throne, because Rory's disappointed me too many times the last 4 years, whatever.
Yeah, Rory does that to you.
And Spieth won the 2015 Masters and the 2015 U.S. Open.
Yep, Chambers Bay. You're right. Yep. DJ should have won that one too, you fucker. Oh man, yeah. What do you guys think about him this week? Do you think Jordan's got a chance? I mean, I know he's cooled off since kind of the summer or the April, May heater he was on. But I kind of like his game on a quirky place like this. Like it's up his alley to just kind of fuck around and all of a sudden make a shit ton of putts and get creative with the short game and hang around until he has a good ball striking day and kind of take it deep, and then all of a sudden be in the mix come Sunday.
Yeah, I can agree with you more with that kind of just that preview of Jordan Spieth's game this weekend. I think that's exactly what we're going to see.
I like that.
I think he's going to make pars from everywhere. And like you said, he'll roll. No one's better at making 60 footers on greens rolling at an 8 on the stimp meter than Jordan Spieth. So
good video evidence, 2017.
Yeah.
Go get that shit. That was what I meant to bring up before. That was my moment. Thank you.
I was going to say it.
Full circle.
Yeah.
That was my moment. The 60-foot eagle putt on 15 after hitting it in the range on 14, and then Go get that. All right. We're glad we got there. Okay. That was
Yeah.
bugging me. I was thinking about that the last 20 minutes.
I love Jordan this week. He's not my pick, but I think he's maybe my second or third pick this week. I would not be surprised if he shoots 63 on Thursday. Like I like or and then he shoots like a gross 72 on Friday or something like that. But I think exactly what you said, he finds a way to make pars, he makes a bunch of putts, and for him it's just a matter of, I think we've seen enough low rounds from him that that's not a question anymore. He can shoot 62, 63, 64. Like that's in the cards this week. It's a matter of, is that ugly round a 70 or is that ugly round 75, right? And you can't shoot 75 in a major championship and win. Not in the Open Championship where scores are pretty low for the most part. So, the quirkiness plays to, his golf game. I don't want to call it his ability, but just kind of the way he plays.
To JT, where they're a creative mind. Like they're always going, even when they don't have to. Like sometimes to a fault for him, he gets going. But like at a place like this, like let him go. Like it only most of the shots kind of require it, and like he's just, I think, kind of like you're saying, like if his bad day, if he gets creative around the greens, makes a couple stupid up and downs, makes a few 12-footers for par or whatever it may be, and keeps that bad day with the, ball striking wise at that 70, like 71, somewhere in there. And then, is just patient enough to have that good day where he, shoots that 64 or whatever. He's a guy that I'm definitely circling this week as I like JT more than him, considering they're at the same odds, but I'm also always rooting for Jordan because I think when he's playing well, golf's doing well. It's a no-brainer there. So,
I mean, it's funny you bring kind of, I haven't even thought of JT and Jordan in the comparison of kind of the creativity and the way they go about the game, but the only way I think Jordan Spieth's game could be more volatile is if he had the ability of Justin Thomas, because then he would take on even crazier shots and think he can take crazier lines and hook the ball and cut the ball and hit it low and hit it high. Like he already does that to a fault at this point. If he had the ability that JT did, we could see like the most ridiculous pro golfer of all time, just with the way Jordan Spieth's brain goes and kind of the ability of Justin Thomas.
I agree. He'd be like, I don't even know, like shot shaping drunk, talent drunk, whatever you want to call it. Like he would be that for sure. He'd have, 140 yards out in the middle of the fairway to like a, mid or back left pin, like a pretty, standard shot, and hit like a chunk and run 6-iron or something, like just get weird out there with it. I could totally see that. But I think to your point, like he just doesn't have like the raw talent of a golf swing. He just has the beautiful mind and the beautiful short game that, puts him where he is in his career versus a guy like Justin Thomas.
The beautiful mind, not a quote, not a quote I thought I was going to hear on our Open Championship preview.
Hey, we're giving the people what they want.
Yeah, but I think we've talked a bunch of different matchups here, and I think we've given a little bit of a preview. Before we get into picks, I think we got to do a little around the horn. Matt, I know we talked a little bit about kind of what we're thinking about sipping on this weekend, but if you're when you're watching the Open Championship, I'm going to give a unique time and kind of a day, and you're going to let me know what you guys are sipping on. So, Eric, it's 11:15 in the morning, and you're watching the Open Championship. It's the wind and the rain is blowing over there, and some carnage. What are you sipping? You're sitting on your couch. What are you sipping on with a little English flavor here for Royal St. George's?
I'm gonna go a Tom Collins. Keep it a
Ooh.
little kind of middle of the road, nothing too boozy, but not diving into the Guinness yet. So Tom Collins, just a nice little lemon gin cocktail.
Gin before noon. That's something the English would do. So
Ugh.
Joey, we're sending it to you for you're watching, you worked all day, so now you're watching the highlights. It's 6:30 on Friday night. The last group just got in, early night for Baker. I'm not sure what was going on out there, but it's 6:30. You just got back. You're sitting down. You're ready to watch the back nine of a featured group for the highlights. What are you sipping on with a little English flavor?
I'll be honest. I don't know what the English fucking drink, guys.
Eric, help him out. Give him some options.
Like, my answer. I'm gonna go in my fridge, grab a goddamn seltzer, and go from there.
I mean, that works. Jeff.
I like Eric's answer though. Nice Tom Collins. I did mention one of those to you guys. What was it last week?
Yeah.
So you were a 19-year-old at one point drinking gin and tonics. I don't know why that wasn't your answer.
No, that was there, but you already said gin. So like,
gin and tonics.
What's that?
19-year-old freshman in college ripping gin and tonics.
You were the youngest person in America drinking gin and tonics in college. I don't know why that wasn't your answer.
Yeah, I don't know. You already said something with gin. I don't know. I guess gin and tonics would
Yeah.
I will say the gin and tonics, they don't do it for me anymore. I think you kind of drank them a little too much. And, I kind of overdid it in school. So, I mean, hand up, that's on me. Still enjoy one here and there. Don't get me wrong. So I also don't have any gin here. So I don't know why I'd be drinking a gin and tonic. You got me?
I mean, they do have liquor stores in New Hampshire.
Yeah, but like,
one.
I don't drink a lot of hard liquor, boys. I get home late. The last thing I do is really drink. I just go to bed, So it's the life of the Z-Man. What can I say?
All right. Note for the Ryder Cup preview. Don't ask Joey any on the spot questions.
Yeah,
no, I'm terrible at on the spot questions.
Yeah. I mean, I
think we've said that a few times.
I mean, we've been doing this for 8 months and I still prompted him. Talk about hand up. That's on me. That's my second hand up of the day. If I get another one, I'm going to just end the show at that point.
They say, like, there's that saying, like, you don't get mad at the kid that, like, the 6-year-old that drove his parents' car through the garage. You get mad at the parents for letting him drive. This one's on us for throwing Joey an on-the-spot question. Like, we're the parents in this situation.
You got to enjoy, like, the answers I give at least, right? Sometimes I give.
No, I mean, you find a way to, we get there. I mean, it's just certain.
Just not the exact answer we're looking for.
But we get there.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Fontaine, now it's your turn.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna say Saturday at 1 p.m. You just got off the golf course at Franconia. We shot 63. The rest of the field is behind us. You're sitting in your pool house. It's a little warm out there, so maybe it's Guinness weather, but it's probably a little warm for a Guinness. What are you? You're sitting in the pool house. You put on the back nine. What are you sipping on?
Oof. Being outside and in the pool house definitely changes it because I won't give what I would have said because that might be taking your answer. But if I'm outside, I'm still in the elements. I'm in the heat, by the pool, and this is definitely like a probably not actually truly drank over there, but I'm gonna say it's like Irish themed. But I'm going with like a Jameson and ginger. Like the Jameson's the Irish part. I'm sure they don't mix it with ginger ale over there. But we're going Jameson just to get Jameson in the mix. But I know a Jameson ginger is not a UK themed drink. But all of my brain only goes to Guinness and Jameson, and like that's the only way I can drink either of those in the summer heat. So that's what we're going with. That's just what it's gonna be. Because otherwise, it's gonna be some kind of Guinness, and if I'm outside in the heat, I don't know if I can do the Guinness. I gotta be honest.
Hey, my pick, and it doesn't change the time of day. It's just a matter of your proportions, right? So I'm going, and it's kind of I usually refer to it as a black and tan, which would be like Guinness would be like half Guinness and half ale, but depending on the time of day and the elements that are around, the heat outside, you kind of adjust those proportions, right? It's a little chilly and you want yourself a little more Guinness, then you put a little more Guinness in there and less ale. If it's real hot out there, then you go majority ale and just top that off. So you have a little bit of that kind of coffee, stout, red ale, kind of that Guinness, taste to it, but the majority of it and the kind of the thin body is for the most part ale. So it's really about proportions when it comes to the black and tan. You just got to find the right one based off, the timing and all the elements that come in. Perfect for the Open Championship.
See, that's, I didn't have that kind of depth to my black and tan knowledge, because that was going to be my other pick. But I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can drink a half a Guinness, but like you said, could have just rode with the ale and just kind of topped her off. So that's a good little touch. I should have.
And I'm not sure what it's called, but I've also seen ones where it's half cider and half Guinness.
Ooh.
So
cider action. That's probably good.
Yeah, and that was kind of my second pick if I was going a cocktail. When I think, and it was actually the first. I mean, I had a couple drinks kind of in high school, but I went to England with my grandparents when I was maybe going into my junior year of high school. And over there, they let you drink whatever you want when you're like 15, 16. And we were just drinking. My grandfather was born in England, and his brother still lives over there. And they came over to the hotel, and it was like 3:00 in the afternoon, and we're just like sitting at the hotel lobby, whatever. So I'm thinking we're just gonna have a soda or whatever. We're drinking ciders at like the Holiday Inn, Kent in England. I probably had like two beers in my entire life before I went over there. Now I'm drinking with my grandparents, and I'm, they're like 2% or 3%, so they weren't like anything crazy, but that's definitely ingrained in my mind as a very English drink, and something that people kind of would just have on a normal afternoon, and would just be a comfy drink to have all week long as well.
I like that. But
I think it's probably time to do picks and kind of jump into that, kind of being the end of our show here. So Matt, I'm going to send it to you first give us kind of your final pick. No value picks, who's going to win it this week, and why are they going to win?
I'm going with JT, a lot for what we talked about earlier, but also he's just due to get back involved in a major. He's just too good to kind of have been really non-competing for quite a while. I know he's got a couple top 10s since he won one back in 2017, but they're really kind of more of the backdoor style. It's not like he ever really had too legitimate of a chance to really bring one of these home. And I think he's just far too good of a player to go a full 4 years now without at least being in that mix final group or two on Sunday. And I just think he finally showed a little bit of form, and I think that's really all he needs to get a little confidence and a little momentum going, and really give himself a serious chance to win a major again, and kind of re-solidify himself as one of like the top guys in the world. I know the regular season wins have been there for him. I think he's up to like 13 or 14 now. But I think it's just, if he really wants to be one of those top players in the world, you got to do it in majors. And I think it's been too long since he's been in the mix. So I'm going with JT.
I like it. Joey, can we kick it over to you for your pick? Or is this, have you had enough time?
No. I told you, so I'm throwing it, like I said, throwing it differently. Not Jordan, but if he does win, I give myself a win. That's just on the record. It's the way it goes. My pick this week, though, boys, I'm going with good old Louis Oosthuizen. Figured.
I've never heard of that guy before.
Have you never heard the Oh shit! Who? No, one of the New York radio guys pronounced his name like that. It's besides.
It was Mike Francesa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. I was drawing a blank. Yeah. Anywho, but he's just been real solid in the past two majors, and I remember watching in the U.S. Open, seeing him. He finished tied or second place in the past two majors, and I don't know, just kind of sitting there like I think he's gonna get it done. I don't know if he's played ever good at this golf course or anything like that.
Oh,
but
I have
Open championship.
Quite the stat for you when it comes to Louis Oosthuizen. I just got to find Justin Ray's tweet about it earlier.
Okay.
But essentially, in Louis' career, I mean, it's
I know what tweet you're looking for. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, like you said, super close in the last couple majors, but overall in his career, he's been super solid in majors. He's like 12 strokes away from winning 7 majors.
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly it.
And I think it's like 6 strokes away from winning 4. he is not off by like he's so close to being like literally one of the best ever. If he has 7 majors, that's the player of this generation post Tiger. You know what I'm saying? Like he is that close to being that guy. I would love to see Louis get one just due to like the torture it is to watch him kind of like fumble these away on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
Like Torrey was I know
just,
I know Rahm went and kind of got that on 17, 18 and put that pressure on him, but like he was kind of neutral all day. Like he could have, if he had a good day there, he wins by a few. And Rahm's just kind of doesn't even have the opportunity on 17, 18. Those putts don't really mean anything if Louis has a halfway decent day, but I love that Louis pick. And it's that stat is like, I saw that today and my like jaw hit the floor. I was like, oh my goodness, 12 shots away from being 7 majors. That's just stupid.
Yeah. So I think this week is a week he gets it done. So
I'm all for it. I'd love to see it.
So, well, we know who Eric is picking. So I don't know if you want to debrief it even more, or we just go to Michael.
I don't think I need to.
All right. Refer to minute 20 or whatever time Eric, made his pick right there. But I am going with, I'm a little bit outside the box, but someone who's shown a lot of form as of late, and really has played really solid this year. I'm going Lee Westwood this week. Someone, mid 40s, has been a real kind of a sweet spot in the Open Championship. Played pretty well last week at the Scottish Open. If I'm remembering properly, I didn't really get to watch too much, but I was just following the leaderboards and, had a real hot streak earlier in the year. I just think it would be really cool. And I think it's kind of very Stenson-esque. I think he's had a better overall career than Hendrik Stenson has, but I think kind of very similar in the vein of a ton of success internationally, quite a few wins, but really kind of just, knocked on the door and never got it done until he got it done at the Open Championship. And Lee Westwood, has shown some form, just got married. I'm sure his wife is going to be on the bag. They've been a pretty good duo this last couple of years. And I just, there's something about those guys in the 40s that just, are creative enough. They grind it out. And, that's, as much as we said, there's probably not a formula for the Open Championship. I think those qualities, rise to the top a little bit more, in links golf and in the Open Championship than they do on a weekly basis.
Yeah. I like that. Some value in that one too. Got to be, I think Open Championships, you got to be a borderline boring golfer until you get to the greens. Like, stay away from the pot bunkers, stay away from the fescue as often as possible. And then when you eventually get that weird runoff or weird bounce around the greens, you got to kind of defend that and get creative with the short game. And he's a ball striking machine, right? He'll pepper fairways, hit good iron shots all week. So I like that. I would love to see Lee Westwood finally get that thing done.
You mean Lee Westwood and Louis in the final pairing?
My fantastic. God, that could either be heroic or absolutely tragic. It could be a car wreck by the 8th hole.
Yeah, a lot of well-struck golf shots, just like to the middle of the green.
A lot of mental demons and maidens on Sundays.
Yeah. Joey, I love that pick, though. I think a lot of people are talking about Louis this week, but it either goes one of two ways. I'm sure that U.S. Open was kind of heartbreaking for him to be there and to, he's been around, but that was clearly the best opportunity he's had in the last 5 years, I would say. So, and this is the best his form has been too overall. Yeah. So yeah, I think we got some good picks this week. Eric, I think it's tough to go against DJ this week too. Ton good value there with him kind of not being in perfect form, but success on this golf course, and was the best player in the world for a 2-3 year period. So yeah, excited to watch this week, and I think we're excited just to be a little bit creative too. I think we got some fun cocktail videos that are hopefully gonna roll out this week. I know we highlighted a few that we would be drinking, we want to be drinking, but for our listeners out there, if there's one that you guys want to, see us make, slide into our DMs and let us know. We'll get creative. I think Matt and I are playing early Saturday morning, so I think it would be surprising if there's not a little Bailey's in the coffee in the parking lot at 6:45. But we're happy to, hey, is there another, whatever similar type of thing to Bailey's that you guys think is better? Hey, let us know. We'll throw that in our coffee. I'm not afraid to mix it up. All I got to do is make contact on the first day at Franconia. I'm gonna have a pitch. So
yeah, I mean, challenge me when it comes to making a cocktail. I've been keeping it as simple as I can because I'm very limited in my abilities and the resources I have. But if I get a request, I'm not going to turn it down. So don't be afraid to push us.
Any cocktail can be finger stirred if you try hard enough. So. And if you think there's a cocktail that should be shaken, we're gonna finger stir it. So
yeah, I was gonna say, don't even think about it.
Shaker.
But yeah, looking forward to this week and looking forward to staying connected, boys, and chatting the Open Championship as it goes on. So take it easy, and I'll see you guys soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.